everyone. Welcome to Fantline. I'm Minister Marvin FANT. Got a good one for you. And today's message is the blueprint race, what the devil doesn't want you to know. So I have to go way back to the beginning. Well, not our beginning, but even going further back. And this has to do with God, who is the creator of all things, and the archangel, who is now Satan. Now, he had a nice setup, talking about Satan. He was the most beautiful of the angels. He was more or less the leader, number one, so to speak. But he wasn't above God. He wasn't number one over God. Now, I'll give you a little reading on this. So, why did Satan fall from heaven? Satan fell because of pride. He desired to be God and not to be a servant of God. And in reading in Isaiah chapter 14 verses 12 through 15 and Ezekiel chapter 28 and 12, if you notice, he says, I will, many times. It became an I thing. It became a me thing with him. Satan is described as an exceedingly beautiful angel. Satan was likely the highest of all angels, the anointed cherub, the most beautiful of all God's creations. But he was not content in his position. Instead, Satan desired to be God and to essentially kick God off his throne. In other words, a hostile takeover, the very first hostile takeover in history. And he wanted to rule the universe. Satan wanted to be God, and interestingly enough, that is essential that Satan tempted Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So, bear in mind, when this happened, when he got bold enough to call himself wanting to go against God, and see, we have to remember, God knows all, he sees all, he knows what you think, and he knew the thoughts of Satan. He knew what was going on. So, and no, nothing is written on this, but I can see the scenario. Whereas God is like, well, wait a minute, you want to challenge me. You want to take over this throne. You want to be the King of Kings. You want to rule the universe. But yet, I'm the one that made you. I created everything. I've given you all that you need. But yet, you're greedy. You want more. You're evil. You want more. No, can't have that. You know, it's like when a child, say of 10 years of age, wants to go against a parent. They want to try to be the boss, you know, and basically, to a very small degree, growing up as children, we all, to some extent, not so much as to take over, but the evil comes out in a sense, even with children, whereas you want to buck the system, you want to go against authority. I was that way when I hit a certain age, like 12, 13, get a little bigger, a little more bass in the voice. You want to challenge, huh? No. And God is that way. No, you don't challenge me. Mhm. So now, did Satan really think that he could overthrow God? Did he? Did he really think this? I mean, he was really delusional. And just like many of us, we become delusional when we think that we can outthink God, or um, we can do certain things, and not think it's going to matter. God is the creator. We are the created. Just like with the angels, they were created. Who came first? The creator or the created? But Satan, he deceived himself in thinking that he could overthrow God. So, God kicked Satan out. He kicked him out. He said, there's the door. And you know the rest of that went, okay? He said, there's the door. But here's the thing though, not just there's the door, but I'm going to banish you to this place called earth. And in it, your power will be limited. You won't do the things that you were able to do. And because of your sin, and this is me paraphrasing, because of your sin, because remember that it described him as being beautiful. And I think that sin altered his appearance, so to speak, to a degree. Now he could still can change his features, okay, to make us see him in a different light. But when you uncover him, all you see is hate, greed, ugliness, the ugliness of sin. And I truly think this. Just like when God created this earth, okay, when God created it, he cleaned it up real good. Well, I take that back. When he created it, it was for Satan, okay? But he had an idea. I jumped ahead of myself here. He had an idea. Again, me paraphrasing. Just thinking outside of the box, okay? He had an idea. You know what? I'm going to clean this place up. This garbage pit, this garbage bin that I put him in. And I'm going to show him who's boss. I'm going to show him what the what is. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1 verse 5. Okay? In Genesis chapter 1 verses 1 through 5. And it says, in the beginning, God created heaven and the earth. In the beginning. Okay? And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Now see, this is where I see that God said, I'm going to show you who I am. Because evidently, you're not taking this serious. Evidently, there's some aspects that you just don't believe. So I'm going to show you. And it says in verse 3, and God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, and the light was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the Darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. This is the beginnings of God beautifying the earth. Not for Satan. No. Not for Satan. No. He doesn't get that. And let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Now this is after he had beautified the earth and made everything well and made everything right. And this is what I was getting at. Everything on earth when he did this was perfect. It was perfect. But yet Satan couldn't do anything about it. He couldn't enjoy it. Because now in this situation, him being on earth, remember I said his power was limited. So he could not enjoy this beauty, even though he was within it, but he couldn't enjoy it. Couldn't enjoy it. Okay? You with me? He couldn't enjoy it. So in verse 7, and the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So, man was made. And I see this as God saying, I'm gonna stick it to you. I'm gonna make another creature. Okay? I'm gonna make another creature. And I'm gonna make this creature, man, to rule over this earth, to have dominion. I'm giving him stewardship over this earth. He's going to take care of it for me. Okay? He's going to take care of it for me. And the earth became man's dominion. Now, the devil wasn't liking this. No, no. Not at all. He was not liking this at all. But think about it. You're put in a prison, and all of a sudden, the prison. I'll give you another scenario, okay? You put in a prison, a house, you're given a house arrest. But this house that you're put in, it's horrible. The conditions are nasty. It's just ugly, okay? Not fit to live in. Not fit to live in at all. And then along comes this, God, and he makes the house beautiful. He gives it nice furniture, nice appliances, the best of the best. But you're in a little corner in the house. You can't enjoy it. You got massive color TVs in every room, food all over the place, but you can't enjoy it because you're being punished. So now, in your mind, you're thinking, no, I can't have this. Now you're thinking, I got to do something. I got to do something to make this in reverse. So the devil realizes he must get at man. He must get to him. So that he can be ruler of the earth. He must get man to disobey God, to go against God. So in that vainness, in that situation, he can be the ruler. And here's a revelation I received. Remember I said Satan's power is limited in the earth realm because he is a spirit, which is why he was banished to earth. And being on earth, it's a different realm. It's a different spirit. because he can only be affected by entering a willing body, be it human or animal. Or he has to be cunning and use trickery and lie to get his agenda across. Humans in the same vein are powerful in the spirit realm, which is why God tells us to operate in the spirit aside from the flesh. Before sin, we were able to operate and have the full implementations of our God-given powers. And in that way, we were more powerful than Satan, even in the flesh. But because of sin, we disobeyed, we abdicated that special provision of while being in the flesh. We gave it up. So, and we all know the story, we all know the story of how Satan got to flip-flop things around, how he got to deceive us. Well, Eve and then Adam. But in correlation because of that connection, us also. Because aren't we always being deceived by him whenever we allow him to enter our lives? But the beauty of God is that he had a ram in the bush, and that ram was Jesus. So when Jesus came on earth, and Satan tried this again, because he's figuring that, okay, I've taken care of man, and here he is again, but this time it's Jesus in the flesh. Oh, I know he's being in the flesh and he's not as powerful as so he thought. He figured that if he could get Jesus to bow down to him, he could forever have earth. And which would have been the situation if Jesus had given in to him, but he didn't. So, Jesus. Now this is where I want to get to some of the points that I've been wanting to make. I had to set this up in order to get where I am now. When God created man, and I like to put it this way, what were the ingredients? You say ingredients. Well, what were the ingredients? He made man from dust, right? And I'm just being as simple as possible on this. He made man from dust. What color is dust? I don't have to say a word on that. What color is dust? Is it pink? Okay. You see where I'm getting at? The Garden of Eden. What region of the world is that in? Is it a cold climate? Is it a hot climate? And when you go over there, and I'm not even, get this thought in your head, okay? I don't even have to answer that for you. I don't even have to say it for you, okay? So, being in that region of the world, a hot climate, okay? All the people, they're looking like they have a tan? Yes. Are they looking pale? No. Okay. I can leave that right there for it to percolate in your head. Now, I put that scenario there because, and now I'm going to come out with it, black people were the original race. This may offend some people, but hey, sometimes reality bites. Sometimes truth is a cold dish to take, but it's true. Okay, it's true. And be it that the original people, and I'm looking at this story here with Satan. Now, he is the type of creature that he wants to come back at you. He wants revenge. He wants this. He wants that. And it's all for the sole purpose of himself. And I think that's why, and I come out to say this, that being black people have been his target because we were the original. We were the blueprint. And we have been targeted ever since. All throughout the years. When the black man had a prominent role on the earth, be it kings and queens, be it the Sphinx, all the things that were built way back then, the scientists and so forth, the emperors. Remember, I wrote a book called The Black Emperors of Rome. It's true. But with all the lies, deceptions, thievery that Satan has orchestrated to have other races, especially the white race, Anglo-Saxons, to come against people of color, to use that against, and all along he's been manipulating like a puppet master. And those willing, key word, have given into it, have allowed themselves to be manipulated, thinking that they are a master race. You look at Hitler. He had convinced the German people that they were it, that they were the master race, and no one else was above them. And he had them thinking like that they persecuted the Jews, got rid of the Jews, drove them out, killed them, annihilated them. Many of the German people knew about this, but they turned a blind eye. Didn't want to know about the atrocities that were going on. They figured as long as we don't know about it, it doesn't hurt us. So Hitler pumped their heads up to tell them, you are the master race, and everyone else should bow down. No. But that's how Satan has manipulated people throughout the ages. I look back and I'm reading about Napoleon Bonaparte, the French leader. How he was the one he would go out to where the Sphinx statues were and had his armies to blast off the noses of the Sphinx to deform them, to make them look like they were not Negroid, so to speak, in appearance. And through the years, I was informed that they were again altered to make them look less of a Negro ancestry. Lies and deceptions. And so much is going on. I don't really need to go into the histrionics of the denigration of the black man. We've heard it. We know it. But in this aspect, There are many lies that were told, deceit and so on. You know, Jesse Duplantis, he had a heartfelt situation that he spoke about black people. He said, and I quote him, mainly paraphrasing, Satan has tried to destroy the black race for many, many years. He said we were enslaved, hung, put in fires, raped, stolen from, and shot, and many other atrocities. Yet he said, we are the only race that sang to God and never blamed God as a whole. Okay, now I'm not talking about separate individuals, but as a whole, we never blamed God through all the atrocities that we've gone through. And Satan knows there was great talent given to the black race. And he thought he could destroy the black race by fire, rape, thievery, and shootings. But we still gave God the glory. We still gave God the praise. So now Satan figures the only way to destroy this race is within. To have us kill each other. To have us harm each other. To cheat each other. To hate each other. So Jesse suggests, go back to praising the Lord, like our ancestors, and put Satan in his place. Put Satan in his place by putting God first. Put Satan in his place by giving praise and making God number one in your life. Because Satan has no power over us. And now when I say us, not only black people, but everybody. He has no power over you. Not unless you allow it. Not unless you give into the deception, the lies. He has no power over you. He has no power over me unless I give it, unless I allow him. So, that's what the devil doesn't want you to know. He doesn't want you to know that his primary targets have been the black man, has been people of color, has been to divide and cause dissension. He wants us to go at each other, race versus race, Democrat versus Republican, and so on and so on. Now, I just threw that in there, but still, you get the idea. It's still people versus people. That's what he wants us to do. He wants us to go at each other. And like I mentioned, especially the black race, especially us, because he sees us as the original, the blueprint. And that's his way of trying to get back at God for whichever way he can. So I say to you, don't give in to him. Don't believe the lies. Don't give into the deceit, the deception. Put God first. Put Jesus first. Give him praise and glory that he so richly deserves. Say.